Tomi balanced 2 heavy bags against her hip, her laptop bag sliding down her shoulder as she struggled up the narrow staircase. The lift had been out of order, of course. She muttered under her breath, "This is the last time I move on my own." The hallway smelled faintly of fresh paint and someone's jollof rice cooking. She found the door labeled 3B, the number on her lease, her new home. Relief washed over her as she fished out the key. But then, she noticed something strange. The door to 3B was slightly open. Her brows furrowed. Did the caretaker forget to lock it? She nudged the door wider and froze. Inside, a tall man lounged on a couch, remote in hand, the glow of football on the TV reflecting in his eyes. A half-finished plate of groundnut and roasted plantain sat on the coffee table. "Excuse me." Tomi's voice rose, sharp with disbelief. "What are you doing in my apartment?" The man blinked, clearly startled, before sitting up straight. "Your apartment?" No. This is mine." Tomi stepped in, waving the lease she had carefully folded in her bag. "Look. Apartment 3B. Paid for, signed, sealed. This is mine." He chuckled, running a hand over his short beard. "Funny, because I moved in last week. See. My things are here. Clothes, food, even my slippers. I don't care if you brought your whole extended family," Tomi snapped. "This is my apartment. I'm not leaving." The man stood, crossing his arms. "My name is Juma. And I think you're the one who's lost." "Lost?" Tomi's eyes narrowed. "Do I look lost to you?" "No, I am sorry, okay. Let's just call the landlord," Juma said. Minutes later, on speakerphone, the landlord's lazy voice filled the room. "Oh, yes, about that, there was a mix-up with the paperwork. Both your names got attached to 3B, it's a small issue. I'll sort it out next week." "Next week?" Tomi exclaimed. "Where am I supposed to live until then?" "You two are adults," the landlord replied, clearly unconcerned. "Figure it out or maybe share. It's only temporary." Tomi nearly threw her phone at the wall. "Unbelievable." Juma shook his head, muttering, "Karibu Nairobi. Welcome to the madness." That night, Tomi dragged her suitcase into the bedroom, refusing to look at Juma sprawled on the couch again. She locked the door firmly behind her. But through the thin walls, she could hear him laughing at something on TV. She clenched her teeth. "Great," she whispered, sinking onto the mattress. "Stuck with a stranger in my own house." Little did she know, this mistake was just the beginning. Morning came too fast. Tomi shuffled into the kitchen, still in her oversized t-shirt, hair bundled in a scarf. She froze. Juma was already there, frying eggs like he owned the place. "Good morning, roommate," he said calmly. "Don't call me that," Tomi muttered, reaching for a mug. Juma smacked. "Well, until the landlord gets his act together, that's what we are. Roommates." She rolled her eyes, poured her coffee, and turned her back on him. The smell of fried onions filled the room, annoyingly tempting. "You should at least buy your own groceries," she said. "Don't touch mine." He raised an eyebrow. "Yours. I bought this, don't worry. I labeled the milk so we don't fight over it." Tomi nearly choked on her coffee. "You labeled the milk?" "Of course, I even used a marker. Juma's milk, so it's very official." She set down her cup with a sharp clink. "You're impossible." He only grinned, sliding an omelette onto his plate. The first week was chaos. Tomi worked late shifts, often coming home to find Juma blasting music or leaving his shoes in the hallway. She complained loudly every time. "This isn't a bar," she snapped one evening when Afrobeat pounded through the walls. "It's only 9 p.m., he argued. "Some of us relax after work. Some of us also need sleep," she yelled. Their clashes became routine. The bathroom schedule, the dishes, even how to hang clothes on the balcony turned into battlegrounds. And yet, somewhere between the shouting, little moments slipped through. Like one rainy afternoon, the power went out across the whole building. The apartment was cloaked in darkness. The only sound was the heavy patter of rain against the windows. Tomi sat with a candle on the coffee table, scrolling her phone. Juma entered, carrying a second candle. "You're going to burn the place down," she teased without thinking. "And then what?" "You blame me," he shot back, but his grin softened the words. They ended up sharing roasted corn he had bought earlier, the smell filling the living room. Between bites, their conversation shifted. "So why did you move here?" Juma asked. Tomi hesitated, then sighed. "I got a new job as a software developer. I just needed a fresh start." He nodded slowly. "Makes sense. Me, I just wanted a place closer to town. The traffic in this city is killing me." They shared a laugh, the sound mingling with the rain. For the first time, the apartment didn't feel like a war zone. But peace didn't last. The next morning, Tomi found Juma had used her special imported coffee. She stormed into the living room. "You touched my things again," she shouted. Juma looked up from his laptop, unbothered. "Relax, I'll replace it." "That's not the point," she snapped, but the edge in her voice wasn't as sharp as before. 2 weeks later, Tomi woke up to an unfamiliar silence. No music thumping through the wall, no clatter of Juma in the kitchen. She padded into the living room. It was empty. The sofa where he usually left his hoodie was bare. For a moment, she felt relief, until she realized the feeling in her chest wasn't relief at all. Her phone buzzed. A message from the landlord. "Apartment issue resolved. One tenant must vacate by Friday. Kindly decide among yourselves." Tomi's throat went dry. She read the words again, but they didn't change. One of them had to leave. That evening, Juma finally came home, shoulders tense. He held up his phone. "You saw the message?" She nodded. "Yeah." Silence stretched between them. "So," Juma said carefully, "I'll pack my things." "You were here first." Tomi frowned. "Don't do that. You don't have to." "Tomi," he interrupted softly. "It's fine. I know this whole thing has been hell for you." Her heart twisted. She thought of his ridiculous labeled milk, his loud music, the way he always left his shoes in the hallway. Annoyances, yes, but also the roasted maize during the blackout, the late-night conversations, the quiet moments when his presence filled the apartment in a way silence never could. "You don't make things easy," she said finally, her voice tight. A smile tugged at his lips. "Neither do you." They both laughed, short and nervous. Then the laughter faded, leaving only the truth neither had spoken aloud. "I don't want you to leave," Tomi admitted, eyes fixed on the floor. Juma blinked. "You don't." She shook her head. "It's crazy. We fight all the time. You drive me insane. But I've gotten used to you being here. Maybe I'm too used to it." He studied her, his usual grin replaced by something gentler. "I was hoping you'd say that." Tomi's pulse quickened. "So what do we do? We can't both stay." A spark lit in his eyes. "What if we did? Together. Officially, we tell the landlord we're partners with one lease. 2 names, but no more mix-ups." Her jaw dropped. "Partners? Juma, we barely survive sharing coffee." "True," he said with a chuckle. "But maybe that's how the best stories start." Tomi hesitated, staring out the window where the city lights flickered like restless stars. She thought of the loneliness she had carried into this apartment, the quiet evenings that stretched too long. Then she thought of Juma, chaotic and steady all at once, and realized the apartment didn't feel like hers anymore, it felt like theirs. Finally, she met his gaze. "Alright. Let's try." Juma grinned, wide and triumphant. "Roommates, then?" She shook her head, smiling despite herself. "Not roommates. Something else."